rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What are the lessons in verse 207? Beautiful lessons. 207 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَءُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. Allah says, and among mankind is he who sells himself. He sells his life. He gives up his life to seek and attain the pleasure of Allah. Allah is full of kindness and mercy to his devotees, to those who worship Allah. Today, we all need to know the strategy to avoid hypocrisy, to avoid disbelief, is by flagrantly disregarding all the attributes of a disbeliever or a hypocrite and imbibing one strategy. What is the strategy? Sell yourself to Allah. Sell your money to Allah. Sell your time to Allah. You know, when you sell something, number one, the person who has purchased it from you can use it as he likes. So when I sell my life to Allah, Allah uses my life as he likes. Allah uses my time as he likes. Allah uses my money as he likes. This is the fulcrum of Quran chapter 9, verse 111. If you go to Surah At-Tawbah, Quran chapter 9, verse 111, Allah says, Inna Allah ashtara min al-mu'minina anfusahum wa amwalahum bi anna lahum al-jannah. Allah has purchased from the believers their lives and their money. What will Allah pay back in exchange? Allah will pay them with Al-Jannah. Allahu Akbar. So there's a difference between someone who has unconditionally submitted himself. When Allah says do this, he does it unconditionally because he says it belongs to Allah. My time belongs to Allah. My life belongs to Allah. My money belongs to Allah. My sacrifice belongs to Allah. Everything I do for Allah because Allah activated my existence and only Allah will eventually deactivate it. So I must live for Allah. So this verse is saying that whoever lives for Allah, Allah will show him kindness and mercy in this world and in the hereafter. It is a strategy you must imbibe today. You don't own yourself. Give it all to Allah and you will be happy at the end of the day.
Final appeal to brother. Your own name means slave of Allah. The Quran uses the same Arabic word arabid for A, a human bond slave in law, and B, the highest praise for Allah's most elect servants. Denying slave for yourself while Allah praises his messengers as abd is self-contradictory on the Quran's own terms. Please reconsider. Close quote. Chat slave, last call, Q221, Q2178, Q3830, Q3844, principle of prevalence, Quran classical Arabic only. 1. The 4 anchor verses, Arabic, key gloss, Muhammad Ali where relevant. A. Q221, marriage guidance, contrasts Amma and Abd. Open quote. وَلَا تَنْكِحُوا الْمُشْرِكَاتِ وَلِأُمَّةٌ مُؤْمِنَةٌ خَيْرٌ مِّن مُشْرِكَةٍ وَلَا تُنْكِحُوا الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَلَعَبْدٌ مُؤْمِنٌ خَيْرٌ مِّن مُشْرِكٍ. A believing bondmaker is better than an idolatress, and a believing slave is better than an idolater. Muhammad Ali. Close quote. Terms used. Amma equals bondwoman, female slave. Abd equals male slave. The verse unambiguously uses abd for a person's legal social status. BQ2178, Kishas in homicide, contrasts her abd untha. Open quote. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم القصاص في القتلى الحر بالحر والعبد بالعبد والأنثى بالأنثى. The free for the free, the slave for the slave, and the female for the female. Close quote. Abd here again is the plain legal term opposite hur, free. Note, you reference 2 to 178. The correct locus is Q2 178. I see. Q30A 30E, Solomon praised as open quote. وَهَبْنَا لِدَاوُدَ سُلَيْمَانَ نِعْمَ الْعَبْدِ إِنَّهُ أَوَّابٌ. We granted David Solomon, excellent is the slave. Surely he was ever turning. Close quote. Q3844, Job praised as Abd, open quote, Inna wajadnahu sabira, ni'mal abdu innahu awabun. Surely we found him patient, excellent is the slave, surely he was ever turning. Close quote. Undeniable linguistic fact. The same noun abd al-abd occurs in B and C, D. If you translate or insist abd, you slave, for yourself, you must, by the principle of bivalence, either also deny that Solomon and Job are called abd, or accept that slave of Allah is an honor title and then adopt it consistently. There's no third option. Number 2, lexical bedrock, lain lisana Arab concise. Abd, lain, a slave, a bondsman, one owned by a master, one who is subdued, humbled, by extension, one wholly devoted, subject to obedience. Ibadah, abada, not mere worship ritual, but servitude, bond service, to obey, submit, and render oneself owned by the master. Opposition, hur equals free, Arabic idiom abada al-tariq, to subdue, smooth a road, mirrors the semantic core, making something subject pliant. Amma, Emma, female slave, counterpart abd. Abd Allah, slave of Allah, slave of Allah, the most noble theophoric formation. Your brother's surname, Abdul-Ali, literally carries this confession. Therefore, in Arabic of the Quran, Abd primarily means slave, owned, subject, and when ascribed to Allah's elect, it elevates them. Slavery to Allah is honor, not degradation. 3, the Quran's own theology of slavery to Allah, created for servitude, Q51-56. I created jinn and men only that they may serve me. The verb yabudun derives from the ba'i root, purpose equals servitude to Allah. The pinnacle title of prophethood, Q17:1, Al-Isra, glory be to him who took his slave by night. Q18:1, sent down the book upon his slave Abdihi. Q25:1, upon his slave Abdihi, a criterion. Allah repeatedly dignifies Muhammad by the word Abd. Prophetic exemplars, Solomon 38:30 and Job 38:44, crowned with Nimal Abd. Conclusion, bivalence, either Abd equals slave of Allah, is true everywhere it occurs, context deciding whether it's legal status or honorific servitude, or you must deny Allah's own praise formula. The former is true, the latter is false. Namna 4. Answering the 2 confusions in the clip you quoted. 1. Marriage with mushrikin, Q121. Your secondary point stands aside for now, but note, the verse's language that matters here is the pairing Amma, Abd. Brother Shuaib Abdullahi himself read slave for Abd in 2 verse 221. By consistency, he must accept the same noun in 38:30-44 for Solomon Job, hence slave of Allah, selecting slave when it serves a legal contrast, but forbidding it as a believer's identity contradicts the Quran's usage. 2. Importing a taboo against slave. The Quran never forbids believers calling themselves of Allah. To the contrary, it commands ibadah, servitude, and honors Allah's abd. Creating a new taboo is speech without knowledge. CFE Q733. Number 5. Tight logic, chain, room for doubt. Premise 1, Quranic Arabic. Abd means slave. Feminine amma calls bondmaid. Premise 2, Q178, Q221. The Quran uses abd in plain legal contexts, opposite her slave. Premise 3, Q3830, Q44. The Quran uses the same noun abd as the highest praise for Solomon and Job. Premise 4, Q17:118-1. Allah dignifies Muhammad specifically as his. Premise 5, Q51-56. Humanity's purpose is ibadah, servitude, slavery to Allah. Therefore, bivalence. True, a believer must embrace being abd of Allah, slave of Allah. It is our created purpose and our highest badge of honor. False. One should not call oneself a slave of Allah. Any denial collapses into either rejecting Allah's praised titles for his messengers or splitting a single Quranic noun into contradictory meanings without textual warrant. 6. Respectful direct message to Brother Shuaib Abdullahi. Dear Shuaib Abdullahi, with respect, 1. Your own reading of Q221 uses slave for abd. 2. The same word abd is Allah's praise title for Solomon and Job, Ni'mal Abd. 3. Allah repeatedly dignifies Muhammad as his 1, 18:1, 25:1. 4. Our very purpose is ibadah, 51-56. Servitude, slavery to Allah alone. Please accept the consistency the Quran demands. Being a slave of Allah is the believer's honor. To discourage Muslims from calling themselves Abdullah contradicts the book's language and logic. We invite you kindly but firmly to retract that stance. Quick reference table, verse Arabic term, immediate sense, takeaway, Q, Tuwa abd, legal social status, bondmaid, slave, contrasted with mushrik, mushrika. Q 178, al-abd versus al-hur, Kishas categories, slave, opposite free, Nimim al-abd Solomon, honorific title, excellent is the slave of Allah, for 4, Nim al-abd Job, honorific title. Identical praise formula, Q 17, 1, 18, 1, 25, abdi, be abdignity, prophetic dignity, his slave, Q 51, 1, 56, purpose clause, created to serve, be slaves to, Allah. Now her 8, final ruling, bivalence. True, the Quran establishes slave of Allah as the believer's rightful noble identity, used for Allah's prophets Muhammad and embedded in our purpose. False, the claim, do not call yourself a slave of Allah. Case closed. True, no room for doubt, under the principle of valence. The word al-abd, al-abdu, used in Quran 2:221, a believing slave is better than a mushrik, and Quran 2:178, the slave for the slave, is the exact same word, same root, same form, same meaning, that Allah uses for Solomon 30 and Judge 8:44, open quote, Ni'am al-abdu innahu awabun. Excellent is the slave, surely he was ever turning, close quote. There is no change of word, no change of root, no change of meaning. If one denies that abd means slave in 2:221 to 178, then one must also deny that Solomon and Job were called abd by Allah, a direct contradiction of the Quran. Therefore, true statement under bivalence, open quote, the word abd in 2:221, 178, 38:30 and 38:44 is one and the same. Its meaning is slave, and to be the slave of Allah is the highest honor. Close quote. False statement under bivalence, open quote, one should not call oneself a slave of Allah. Close quote. Brother Shuaib Abdullahi, your own name means slave of Allah. By using the same word abd in your reading of 2:221, you've already affirmed the meaning you're denying. The Quran leaves no escape clause. Either accept the truth or contradict the book itself. Call yourself exactly what Allah created you to be, a slave of Allah.